Today I am absolutely pinching myself. This is a real dream come true for me, being a massive JDM enthusiast. I am here at V-Spec Performance in Melbourne with one of the best JDM collections, not just in Australia, but in the world. This is a 400R right behind me. Also over here, you've got a Jun Auto Mechanic R32 GTR. This here is a one of two, I believe, in Australia, R35 GTR Spec V, and the list goes on. You're not gonna believe what's actually right in front of me that I'm about to show you. My name's Pat. You're watching 2PJZ. Welcome to the channel if you're new, and if you're returning, it's good to see you again. Let's get stuck in. So as I mentioned, I am down here at V-Spec Performance in Melbourne, and before we even get started, I'd like to thank the team for having me down. I came here in 2019, back when 2PJZ was still in its infancy, for the open day. There's a bunch of other people around. Some cars are still here, some cars have gone, but for me, this opportunity to actually come down here and film all of these special cars, being a lifelong GTR fan, an absolute crazy JDM nut, is really, really special, and I'm just soaking in every single moment. So thank you so much to the team. My plan for today is just take you on a tour around the shop. There is so much to point out, seeing what there is hiding away in Melbourne. Australia has such a big GTR scene particularly, but lots of really cool JDM cars around the place. There's no better place to start than the top, so let's start with this R33 GTR 400R. If you're not too familiar with GTRs, Nissan only made 44 R33 GTR 400Rs. The 400 stands for 400 horsepower, the R stands for racing, and what's even more special about this particular car is that this is one of three that came from the factory in white, which makes this super, super cool, but also incredibly valuable. If you know anything about current JDM market, you would know that the prices for these cars are astronomical. This car would easily be worth multiple millions of dollars. I don't know how many, I'm not going to speculate. It could be worth 3 to someone, or 4 to someone, or 1 to someone else. So all you need to know is that this is a very, very expensive Nissan. Compared to a stock R33 GTR, there's a bunch of carbon and aluminium all over this car. Under the bonnet, there's an RBX GT2, which is a 2.8 litre strokes RB26. That makes the 400 horsepower, of course. And the body panels of the 400R are completely different to a stock 33. So you get a different front bumper down here. You get this really cool carbon around the intercooler. You get these N1 inspired vents at the front. This bonnet is also different compared to a stock R33 GTR. You've got these awesome, I think they're LMGT1 wheels. The LMGT2 and LMGT3 wheels all look quite similar, but these factory, I believe, came with the LMGT1s, which are such a cool wheel. I really, really like them. And you've got the OG Rays center cap as well, because while these do have a Nismo sticker on them, they were built by Rays. I think from factory, these wheels on the 400 are 18 by 10, which is why Nismo put on this extra lip here to allow for a wider wheel to pass the Shaken in Japan. Obviously, you get this nice 400R decal down the side of the car. 400R plate on the wing here. This really cool carbon wing blade that actually can be adjusted. You can see here it's stepped up a little bit. And on the inside of the car, and this, you get a Nismo garnish on the pillar as well, which is super, super sick. And looking inside the car, you get this very cool 400R steering wheel. You get these Recaro seats that have the Nismo logo at the top of them. These seats alone, if you were to try and buy these on the used market, is so rare. You have Nismo floor mats down here. You've got Nismo shift knob. The dash is signed. I have to ask the team who that's actually signed by, but maybe someone in the comments can tell me who that dash is signed by. You get a 400R bespoke Nismo cluster as well, if that wants to focus up for you. Sorry about the lighting, it's a bit dark in there. And I just love this 400R steering wheel with the horn button, the old Nismo logo down there. As I said, I'm a massive lifelong GTR fan, and being able to spend so much time with this car up close is very, very special. So under the bonnet of the R33 GTR 400R, this itself is a very, very special opportunity for me to even be looking at this, let alone be showing you guys. So I hope you're enjoying. And while we're at the start of the video, this is a very unique opportunity that I'm getting today, and I'm very, very fortunate, but it didn't just come with a bit of luck. I worked hard for this. So please consider subscribing so I can bring you more really cool opportunities just like this one. Let's get back into it. You have the RBX GT2, which is a 2.8 litre stroke stroked out RB26 that, as I said before, produces 400 horsepower. You've got this super cool Nismo titanium strut tower with a sort of mid logo Nismo there. It's not really a logo that you see much. It is R33 GTR era. You usually see this one, which is the current or newer Nismo logo. And you've also got here, this plenum isn't factory. This was replaced, and obviously these engine covers were painted. But you have this sort of carbon, I don't know how well you can see that, but it's gone sort of green over time. And it's not carbon Kevlar. This on the air inlet pipes is carbon that's just been through a lot of heat cycles. And then one thing I really like a lot too is you've got the Nismo logo here on the air intakes as well, and an old logo on the radiator, which is so cool. Then you've got this radiator cooling panel that is a Mines part, and again, every 400R, like the Z-Tune, is numbered. So this one is number 18 out of 44, 1996 build, and as I said before, one of 3 that came from the factory in white. But of course, the 400R isn't the only special GTR. There's a whole bunch. You've got this Silica Breath M-Spec on the lift here that the team's working on. This is a really nice original car, and this color just looks so beautiful. But I want to come and show you this. If you follow me on my Instagram, you would have seen that a couple of weeks ago I posted a video with the car that's behind me here. This is an R34 GTR Z-Tune. The Z-Tune project began in 2003 when Nissan essentially took V-Specs that had 18,000 miles or 30,000 kilometers and took them back to the Nismo Omori factory just outside of Tokyo and turned them into this. This is essentially a fully race-bred R34 GTR that went on to dominate at the Nürburgring. There are real race parts in here in the engine from the Nürburgring car and from the GT race cars. So it is not just a car that looks like it goes fast, it is super cool. And what's even more special about this particular car that lives in this permanent bubble, because I said that that was worth multiple millions. This is worth multiple millions of dollars. This is probably the world's most expensive R34 GTR. So this is one of 19, but even more special than that, this is actually one of 2 painted in Midnight Purple 3. This went back to the Nismo Omori factory in 2019 where it was painted Midnight Purple 3, and there is one more that was an original Midnight Purple 3 car that when it was turned into a Z-Tune, the owner wanted to keep it Midnight Purple. Again, if you're not familiar with the Z-Tunes or GTRs, every Z-Tune is KY0 silver, but this one and another one are the only 2 that are not KY0 silver. This is super special. The R34 GTR is my all-time dream car, so being in the presence of this thing is like a Lakers fan meeting LeBron or a Chicago Bulls fan meeting Michael Jordan. Like it's hero status, this sort of stuff. So head over to my Instagram and you can see a more detailed run through of the Z-Tune where we actually open it up, had a look inside, then come back to this video. Now this here is another car that we've just wrapped up filming with. Again, if you're not familiar with the JDM tuning scene, I'm going to assume that you are. If you've clicked on this video, that you have some interest in JDM tuning. But this, to remind you, is a Jun Auto Mechanic built car. So this isn't just a car that's come to Australia and had some Jun parts put on it. This is a real Jun car from the factory, which is just mind-bogglingly cool. So let's open it up and have a look under the bonnet, because this thing needs to be seen to be appreciated. So under the bonnet of the Jun R32, you've got this, which I believe is a Garrett G42 turbo. The engine has been stroked out to a 2.7 litre. Obviously this is still the RB26, but this car makes around 432 kilowatts, which I think off the top of my head might be 550 odd horsepower. I have to double check that if you're watching this from America, but doesn't matter what sort of power figures you're looking at, this car is an absolute monster. This car is on ethanol. We did actually move it out here so we can get some nice shots of it. And it reminds me a lot of my old R32 GTR that was also on the good old corn juice. Same sort of power levels. Mine had around 450 odd kilowatts, I think. So yeah, reminding me a lot of my old car and making me really want one again. And that's just a couple of cars. We've got so many more behind us. So let's jump in to something different, something other than GTRs. This is a Mugen RR. If you love your Hondas, you'll already be yelling out all the specs to me across the screen. So I believe they only made 300 of these. This is obviously a Honda Civic FD2R that has been given to Mugen and fully kitted out. There's Mugen parts everywhere. It's unmistakably Mugen with this spoiler. You've got a badge down there, this rear bumper, these wheels, you've got this over fender here. The whole car is a completely different car. It looks so cool. This has the K28 and I'm pretty sure it only weighs around 1,200 kilos. So if you're looking for a driver's car, this is super limited and very hard to get your hands on, but a really good shout for something that Honda know how to do really well, which is NA power. Really, really nice car. Looking inside of it now, got a little dash. There's not too much to see down here because it's just the rev counter, and it does come up with a digital display. Up on the top here, you've got the red factory Type R floor mats, but you do get these Mugen RR seats, which is super cool. And this little shift knob with a Mugen RR badge down there, and another one down here. And right behind the Mugen RR, you've got this, an Amuse kitted S2000. I really, really love time attack style builds. It's one of my favorite styles of cars, but there are very, very few cars that I personally would want to kit out with a full time attack style wide body. However, the S2000 is the one car that I think looks really, really nice. This big spoiler at the back, you've got these really aggressive rear over fenders that have just been bolted onto the body, which is super cool. You've got a nice roll cage, which is essential in any convertible. These super light seats. Then down here, you've got digital dash. I believe this is a Motec as well. So this car is not just running the stock ECU, and signed dash as well. We'll come around the outside and have a look at that. Signed by Amuse themselves. That is super cool. I really like these Recaros. This is something very, very different. They're very, very thin. They remind me of like a Lotus seat, I think, which is what they probably are. And obviously you get the factory 6-speed as well. But have a look how aggressive this is from the front. I can actually get the whole car in frame for you. It's pretty difficult because it is so wide. Man, that looks so cool. I do love CE28. So I had CE28s on my R32 GTR, and these are a really rare gold color. These aren't the normal bronze that you might see on raised wheels. These are gold. Next to it here, you've got this R33 GTR that I believe only has around 4,000 or 5,000 kilometers or so on it. Untouched, original car. Then you've got this, which just came in the other day when I was here. This is an R35 GTR Spec V, and this one has a full Nismo kit on it. So this is one of two in the country in this beautiful purple color, I'm told. The Spec V was a special edition. I think they only made around 121. You have to forgive me if I'm getting some of these numbers wrong. I'm literally just running around, just thinking off the top of my head with all these figures. So double check that, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, that Spec V is one of 121, which is super, super cool. And then you might see this behind me here. Should we check that out? I'm trying to be really composed standing in front of this because there's rare, and then there's unicorns, and then there's this whole other subset of super, super rare cars that you just never even think to exist or to be able to see in real life. And I'm just gonna keep going about it. But that next category up from the unicorns is where you'll find this, an HKS 0R. So the HKS 0R was a project where HKS took 4 R32 GTRs from Nissan and completely redesigned them. Just looking around the car, you can probably tell that this doesn't just look like your standard R32 GTR. Every single body panel on this car, even looking back here, has been completely redesigned. So this features a modified RB26 DETT, which I believe was stroked to around 2.8 litres and making 600 horsepower. This, as a GTR fan, is a very, very, very special thing for me to be so close to this car. Even check out those beautiful BBS wheels. These are the same wheels that you would find on the Mines car. These are magnesium forged wheels, which is super, super cool. And then back here, you've got the official stamp of approval, 0R, into the side skirt here. You've got these vents as well, designed to push air onto the rear brakes for aerodynamics. It's just a real marvel of technology that HKS were putting this out at the time they were. Mines and HKS, both of them are my equal favorite tuning shop. So this is not just a car to me, this is a real genuine piece of automotive history, and I feel very, very lucky to be so close to it and to be able to do this and open it up and have a look inside. I hope that shows up for you okay. The lighting is pretty poor in here, but these are bespoke HKS 0R seats that come factory with these harnesses, because this car wasn't just a show car. This was designed to go super fast and to beat supercars. This was supposed to put Japan on the map, and this car just smells so new inside. Everything has just been looked after. HKS 0R steering wheel and bespoke cluster in there as well. And of course, if you don't know, the HKS 0R has no back seats. Oh my God. Wow, 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 wow. So the HKS 0R was designed to go to 300 kilometers per hour. And looking in the engine bay, wow, this is something that I've only ever seen in the books or on option DVD or in the magazines. So wow, as an HKS nut, this is, yeah, There are some things that sort of blow your mind a bit. You've got the HKS Technical Factory Seal of Approval down there under the RB26 plate. You have the V-cam setup. My other favorite strut bar besides the Mines one is this HKS Kansai one. You've got the iconic HKS hard piping kit and green HKS mushrooms. You've got a Koyo rad. Looks like the stock plenum, but just painted. I am planning on featuring this car on my Instagram in more detail. We don't have that much time to go through every single car here in detail. I'm just pointing out a couple that I think you need to see. Moving on now, you have this awesome red R33 GTR with these massively lipped BBS. This one has a 400R kit on it. Same with this white one back here. This looks very similar to the actual thing, which is over there. But this is another white one. This one has gold badges, which is super cool. Those gold badges go for a hell of a lot of money now. And the cool thing about this one too is it also has the same Nismo seats that you'll find in the 400R. But this has a R34 GTR steering wheel. We've got a white face Nismo cluster and some white triple gauges that are down there as well. Something else I wanted to point out down here that is super special. If you are a Top Secret fan, you would already probably know what this is, but Top Secret is one of the most famous, I would say, arguably the most famous tuning house in Japan. This is an R35 GTR, and you might think that it's just a gold GTR with this really aggressive body kit, and it is a Top Secret body kit with the short nose front here on this R35, but this gold paint signifies something really, really special. This is actually Smokey Nagata, the founder of Top Secret. This is his personal car. This is the car that he used to drive around to shows out and about in Japan. Smokey's cars were the only cars that he painted gold, so you might see pictures of the Supra or anything that he used to have back in the day in the early 2000s in the magazines that you might be familiar with, or the option DVDs. Any car that was gold was Smokey's personal car, but other Top Secret cars don't come in gold, even if they are built by Top Secret. So this car is just a real piece of history again, just like everything that's in front of me. It's a real piece of history, and it's a testament to Alan and the guys at V-Spec Performance for actually looking after these cars, because these are real motoring icons. Like, it doesn't matter if you're into JDM cars or not, if you're just watching this because you like cars, but this is really special stuff. You don't get access to this sort of thing anywhere. So for someone who's been a lifelong fan of GTRs of all sorts, 34s are my favorite car, but this is special. To be walking amongst all this right now is very, very special. And another Nissan that's not a GTR is this. This is a Nismo car though. This is a Fairlady Z 380 RS, which is super, super cool. Again, very, very limited. They only made 300 of these. You've got some nice Nismo goodies all over the car. A bespoke body kit for the 380 RS. And you've got a 3.8 litre VQ38, which I believe produces around 350 horsepower. So again, very, very cool car. This car as well also took inspiration from Nissan's Super GT racing program, which I think you can tell just by having a look at it. I'm not massive on the 350Zs, I will be honest, but when you see something like this, I think is an exception. I could absolutely own one of these. I think they look really nice, really sleek, super cool, just that awesome early 2000s styling that I so much love, which brings me on to my next point of this car that's in front of me. This S15 here is very, very special. I believe Nissan made one S15 and one S14 with this really cool aero kit. You can obviously tell it's got Nismo wheels as well, even though the logo here is fading. And I believe the S14 crashed, but this S15 obviously is still here. So this is, I think, a one of one in this particular specification. There's just so much rare stuff. Like, that's one of 300. This is one of one. This is a sparkling silver R34 GTR with the Z-Tune kit on it. So the Z-Tune fenders here, you can always tell it's a Z-Tune fender if it pokes out here at the top. This is fully functional, by the way, and you can still get these parts from Nissan, I think, although they do cost a lot of money. And that has a black-faced Nismo cluster and some black seats and some very cool BBS LMs down there as well. This actually has a Nismo fine spec engine in it, which is very, very cool. They've all got an individual plaque down there. This one I think is number 153. Just by having a look. So that's super cool. So the fine spec engine essentially is a very special final edition, as you can tell by the fine spec final edition plaque there on the engine cover, RB26, that you could buy new from Nissan. Don't think you can get them anymore, but this is a super cool package to have in a car. Nice and responsive, lots of power, but still maintains that really nice, cool OEM look. Something else very cool, after just seeing the Top Secret car that's down there at the back, we have this. So this is owned by one of the staff here at V-Spec Performance. This is a Top top secret, fully kitted out R35, and it just looks super mean. You've got a whole bunch of carbon fiber like you've got on the spoiler here. This rear bumper and diffuser is made of carbon and super aggressive. And this was actually done by Top Secret in Japan. And I'm told that you know that because the carbon fiber roof isn't done outside of Japan. So that's only something that they can do in-house, because most R35s will just come with a painted roof. But you know it's a Top Secret Japan built car if it has this carbon roof. But just looking around the car, you've got these massive Advan RGs on it, or Advan GTs, sorry, which looks super cool. These tires at the back here are 285s by 20s, which is nuts. And then you've got these really cool carbon fiber brake cooling ducts, vents, whatever you want to call them, on the guards here. This massive long carbon splitter at the front of the car, which molds into this carbon front bumper piece. There's this massive stack of carbon fiber all over the car. As I said, this is the full kit. You've also got some HKS parts in the engine bay. This is a engine cover that was actually signed by Mr. GDR, the original creator of the GDRs when he came to Melbourne, which is pretty cool. But just looking at this car needs to really be seen from multiple angles to show how pretty it is, because it's just unreal. It's a very, very big car. How nice is this steering wheel on the inside? So this is a 2008 GDR, but the kit makes it look so much more modern. I thought this might have been a 17, but it takes a lot of styling cues from the Nismo kit and just puts Top Secret's touch on it to make it even more aggressive and cool. So having the cars is one thing, but you obviously have to have some parts to be able to put on them. And the team here at V-Spec have parts in abundance. I've come to the top level mezzanine. You can see all the cars on the floor behind me to have a look at some of the parts that are up here. You can just see already there's boxes and boxes of Rays, BBS, all OZ Racing, all sorts of different wheels. And then just having a look down here, you've got all these different seats. You've got some bride seats. You've got these factory STI seats. You've got 400R seats under this cover, which is super cool. So that's the third set of 400R seats if you count the ones in the 400R and that R33 GTR that we pointed out before as well. You've got these super cool Mugen seats, which I really like. I think these look really cool. Then some Carrera RS seats. I imagine these are Porsche seats. I had a set of these Ride Japans, I think these are Stradias, in my RX-7 that I didn't really fit in, but you can tell because they're so skinny. But trying to get into the cabin of the RX-7 is a very hard thing. And I think with these shoulder pads, these might be SR2 Recaro Le Mans Confetti. I also had a set of these. These are my favorite seats. I think just this confetti pattern will never go out of style in my eyes. I just think it looks super, super cool. Really, really love it. And then you've just got some more bride seats, some Recaros. Over this way, you've got a whole bunch of parts. So these are all forms of exhaust. We'll see what we can point out. This is a HKS exhaust back here, which is super cool. And then you've got all these wheels. Your awesome blue T37s. These are some 35 GTR stock wheels. STI wheels, which are really cool. And check this out. These are some LMGT1s, which look to be in factory fresh condition. You can see the sizing back there as well. 18 by 9.5, which is perfect GTR spec. The prices of these now are just unbelievable. These are my favorite wheels of all time to have on a classic GTR. These massive BBSs. You've got LMGT4s. These are some 2019 LMGT4s in black with the embossed Nismo logo. This isn't a sticker. Some more LMGT4s. I think this combination has been discontinued for quite some time now. And this little work specialty sticker at the top is really sick too. OG bronze TEs. It just goes on and on. You've got some awesome OG SSRs. You've got some blue Advan, which is cool. These are nice. These are the 0R wheels, actually. Again, a total unicorn spot in itself. And BBS LM F1 editions. The F1 editions are gold. These are very, very hard to get your hands on. I've always wanted a set of these. You have to have huge money to spend on wheels first, and then some more Rays here and here to finish off. But there is just so much stuff that they have here. These guys would have hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of parts for all sorts of Japanese cars. You can even tell, like down here is like a Mugen box. Everywhere I look, there's old logo Nismo boxes, there's Rays boxes, there's Mugen boxes, there's spoon boxes down here. So we could spend all day looking up here, but we're running out of time. I do have to let you go very shortly. If you haven't subscribed already, please think about doing that, because this, as I said before, isn't just brought by luck. I was really fortunate enough to be able to come down here and show you guys around. This is real unprecedented access. I've never seen anyone else have. So make sure you subscribe, comment what your favorite part of the showroom is here. I want to say a massive thank you again to the team here at V-Spec Performance for having me down, letting me just roam around and nerd out around all this stuff. It's just absolutely wild that I can even be close to some parts like this and the cars and just the whole vibe of the JDM culture that is here. So I feel very privileged, very, very lucky today. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, again, hit that subscribe button, like this video, send it to a friend, spread the word around. My name's Pat. You've been watching 2PJZ, and we will see you next week.